Coal, mined from the earth for daily use. It used to be one of the most common ways to heat the house and cook your food. It fueled trains and powered factories around the country. But it did not get to our stoves and fires without some very hard work. You see, mining was a dangerous job, and we risked our lives to keep businesses running, and of course, to keep us all warm. We're going to take you on a journey with some miners to their place of work, half a mile underground. There were once many miners working in County Durham, almost 200,000 in 1923, but since then, well, that number's fallen a lot. But as long as those wheels kept turning, houses and factories could keep their fires burning. Let's go with the miners now. We'll each need a lamp so we can see in the dark tunnels. This miner here, he's checking his, and a kiss for good luck. It's a good idea, he's making sure it won't go out. We'd all have to queue to go down the mine, as the lift cages will only carry a few at a time. And underground, where we were taken to our section of the mine in a tram. Although once that tram reached the end of the line, well, we had to walk or crawl the rest of the way, through the dust and the dark. As soon as we reached the coal face, we began working, picking at the coal to shovel into tubs. You see, it was important to keep checking the roof, check the supports were good and solid. We wouldn't want it coming down around us. Once the tubs had been filled up, one of the pit ponies would pull them to the main shaft and return with the empty tubs to fill all over again. Oh, here we see a hole being drilled. You see, we'd use dynamite to loosen the coal. The dynamite was pushed deep into the coal face. It was an important job, which had to be done carefully. Miners in that section, well, they moved well away for safety, stayed hunched against the wall. A lead was attached from the dynamite to a small electric firing box. And we'd wait. And wait. And there we go, we see the coal falling down the chute and onto the conveyor belt. This put the coal into tubs, which were taken straight to the main shaft. Dave here, he's separating the tubs. Fit into the lift, and up they go, to the surface. The daylight. I'm sure they're not the only ones glad to be in the sunshine though. You see, the pit ponies didn't come to the surface very often either. So when they had their week's holiday, well, we made sure they had a very good time. Out in the fields, in the sun. It must be time to eat. God, the lads must be very hungry. Us miners make sure we eat plenty, and our food's always well earned. It was hard work underground. The ham, the cakes and ice cream. They're always a special treat, mind you. And there's the lads. See, they're off to the new baths. We were clarty after a shift. We had to scrub up well. Coal. On the surface. You see, not all mining was done underground. It's an open cast mine. It's a much safer way of mining the coal, although people said it spoilt the landscape and, used up the good farming land. But the need for coal was so great that open cast mines, like this one, well, they simply had to be worked. And once all the coal was mined, well, the bulldozers got to work. They'd reshape the land, put the topsoil back on, and after a few years, the crops could be grown again. There, you see, you'd never be able to tell. Ah, and here's the factory. You see, this is where the coal was processed to make a number of products. Scientists extracted hundreds of useful things from the coal. Saccharin, an artificial sweetener for your brew, dyes to colour your clothes, nylon fabrics, aspirin, countless other products. And once they were extracted, coke was produced. It was the most useful fuel for the furnaces. It burnt bright, but it was much less smoky than the raw coal. Checked for its bad bits, called clinker, and tipped into the railway trucks. It was ready to be distributed across the country to homes and factories. So there you have it. A miner's daily life. It's about time to go home, lads, eh? Away, for Durham is stopping off, me lads, upon big meeting day. The bandsmen all assemble with their horns so blind and bright, and they blaw from in the morning.